to get what you want if you have the money.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, Mariana. It's so good to talk to you again. Thank you for joining me to talk about season 3 of Trafficked. What an incredible series. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
There's so many incredible topics you discuss in your series, and gun control is always a hot debate in America. And now with the advent of ghost guns, they're untraceable, they can be bought online, and now assembled at home?
That's correct. You know, I've been covering sort of gun issues here in America for many years now. And this, you know, I have contacts in the world of gun smuggling and gun trafficking. And I started hearing from people saying, look, it's gotten easier than ever. And there's all these gang members and all sorts of people, organized crime groups in America, building, assembling, selling, using these ghost guns that are so easy to make and assemble. And so I knew that it was a story that I had to do. And then finding out that they're actually being found more and more in crime scenes across the country.
Now that ghost guns can be ordered online and 3D printed at home, I suspect someone, somewhere, is taking advantage of this.
So it's almost 9 p.m. We're heading to meet one of our contacts. He's an American, lives here in LA, but is part of a Mexican cartel. His group has been dealing more and more in ghost guns. Apparently they're receiving some sort of shipment tonight. So he's allowed us to come and talk to him and possibly film part of his operation.
This is your upper, this is your lower. These metal parts right here are gonna slide in on the back. Ready to go.
So all of the parts in this gun were ordered from online websites, completely
Correct.
Legal.
Correct. Everything you get is all legal. Anybody can get it.
I've seen a lot of things in my career, but this is a first. Watching 2 gang members assemble an arsenal by simply ordering the parts online, grabbing a few tools, and following the instructions.
So this is a completely untraceable gun. If you find this on the streets, there's no way that somebody's going to find out where it came from.
Exactly. So that's why we call them ghosts. Because they're untraceable. Yeah, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, maybe not everybody, but Tiny and Flaco are members of the Sureños, a violent Latin American street gang whose stronghold is in Southern California. To arm their gang, they used to have to buy guns from private sellers or straight up steal them. But none of the guns I'm looking at tonight are stolen.
How often are you selling guns?
Every day. And as quick as we build them is as quick as they go out the door.
And so now what happens to these guns?
They go to the buyer that's on his way.
Oh, there's a buyer on his way right now?
I feel a little like, you know what I mean? I don't feel right. Are we good? Are you sure we're good?
We're good, 100%.
Am I good?
We're good.
I want to out here, tell you the truth. I don't feel good.
The buyer is eager to see the merchandise, but less than thrilled about our presence.
Am I good, homeboy? I'm talking to you. Am I good? Yeah, you're good, bro.
Every summer, Las Vegas is home to the largest rave in the country, Electronic Daisy Carnival, and electronic dance music. You know, MDMA is the foundation of that entire industry, make no mistake. But now it's easy to order online, and kids are buying it?
MDMA, yes. And unfortunately, you know, I got interested in this story because I got an email from my son's school in Los Angeles telling us that there had been a death of a teenager who had taken some ecstasy, MDMA, that was laced with fentanyl. And that sort of spiked my curiosity. You know, this is, you consider the love drug, and yet I don't know much about it. And I really went on a journey to try and figure out what it's made at, how it's made, who makes it, and where it's being sold. And it was riveting and really eye-opening.
Before the assassinations, before the hitmen, the fire bombings, the torture chamber, and the underground pills, there was this email from my son's middle school, warning parents about ecstasy pills that kids had ordered online, in a transaction that had seemed all too easy. I've done stories about most illegal drugs, but I hadn't paid much attention to MDMA. It was a party drug and had seemed too soft or too tame to warrant that kind of deep dive. At least until I came to understand the forces lurking beneath the surface.
I don't care the way you speak, the way you talk to me. Now I'm going and my work is done. I don't live alone.
How many people do you think you've killed?
I don't know. For me, it's no problem.
I don't understand drug dealers killing their customers. I mean, I think that's just one of the strangest things I've ever heard. But I just, it's shocking, isn't it?
It is, you really have to be careful with drugs these days. It's in cocaine, it's in MDMA, it's being found in all these other drugs. I've reported extensively on the opiate crisis as well. One of the episodes we did was about fentanyl as well. And it's just a really scary world out there when it comes to drugs right now.
And organ harvesting and selling, it isn't an urban legend, isn't it? It's happening.
It's interesting. When we started reporting on this story, I wasn't sure. I knew that it was something that we'd hear a lot of rumors about, but then it turns out that it is actually happening. Whenever there's a need and a demand for something, when you think that 17 Americans die every year while waiting for an organ that they cannot get, then there's a clear demand there. And unfortunately, when there's that demand, it usually goes to the exploitation of people that need the money. And that's the industry that we found.
Fight Clubs is a cult classic movie with Brad Pitt, but they exist, don't they?
Fight clubs do exist. That was a fascinating episode. We traveled all around the world, from Thailand to Florida and Detroit and all sorts of places here in the US as well, where we gained really rare access into these illegal underground fight clubs. And I love MMA and mixed martial arts. And for me, it was, a really interesting one, a fascinating subject to tackle.
And not only are subjects incredible in this series, but you've been in so many tense situations. This season is no different. People wearing masks to hide their identity. And in these interviews take place like industrial areas at midnight. And when this show keeps you on edge, doesn't it?
It does, and it's the reality. It's what's happening. When we're in the backyard of a guy's house in downtown or close to downtown Los Angeles, and they're assembling guns. This is like 10, 15 minutes from my house, and they're assembling these ghost guns right there. And then we have a buyer that comes and purchases one of those guns. And he's getting really mad that we're filming it, even though we told him that we were going to be filming, but he wasn't happy. And then it turns out that he purchased this gun and used it that night, and he was arrested that night. So it leads to a lot of tense moments where things are unpredictable and you never know where it goes. But, we take all the safety precautions and we make sure that we're safe as much as possible.
And finally today, I'm surprised how often your subjects want to speak with you. They admit they're human. They want to tell their stories. It's almost like they're confessing to what's happening.
It is. It takes a long time. I'd say that it's a yes for every 100. Every 100 no's, there's a yes. So people think it looks like it's easy because we end up only showing the ones that say yes. But it's months and months, sometimes even years of waiting around and knocking on doors and trying to get somebody to talk to us. So it's hard work, but at the end of the day, I think people talk to us because we give them a chance with a mask to sort of boast about what they do. But most importantly, I think we give people a chance to be understood. These are people who know they're considered the bad guys, and we approach them with no judgment, but with empathy and trying to really understand, because if we don't understand the motivations, we will never be able to stop these black markets from existing.
Well, Mariana, Trafficked Season 3 on NatGeo and Hulu. You are just what journalism is all about. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and let's talk again soon.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.